Hi everyone. Hope everyone's having a good night. Today is the second of the at-large legislative town halls where we have 11 candidates who will be speaking. They'll all have 5 minutes to speak regarding their campaign and candidacy and leading up to Election Day on March 31st. So without further ado, we have our first candidate, Lakin Meter.
Hello, everyone, and thank you to everyone who came out to the town hall today. My name is Lakin Meter, and I'm running to be an at-large representative in the 16th Assembly of UPUA. I currently sit as the Belisario College of Communications representative in the 15th Assembly, and I'd like to continue my advocacy with a broader focus of the whole student body as an at-large representative. This past year, I've worked on a number of initiatives that I'm very proud of, and I'd like to share some of them with you. My first active representative was co-founding the Women's Empowerment Roundtable, where I currently sit as co-coordinator. I established the UPUA Voters Guide that provided students with all information necessary to cast their vote in the 2020 general election. I co-created legislation addressing Penn State's Return to Campus plan, which called for an increase in daily surveillance testing, the implementation of student worker hazard pay, and the expansion of online mental health resources. And finally, I wrote legislation calling for the implementation of assembly time restrictions to ensure both our efficiency and the accessibility of our meetings to the public and its members. There are many new ideas and initiatives I'm excited to work on in the 16th Assembly if elected. This past year, we saw the implementation of Election Day leniency, but I'd like to take that a step further with the implementation of an Election Day holiday. I'd like to develop a textbook exchange program that would help students secure textbooks at no cost to them. I'd like to capitalize on the successes of wellness days and advocate to make them a regular occurrence in addition to fall and spring vacation. This past semester, I sat as the vice chair of the Government Affairs Committee, which allowed me to take a deeper look into PSU votes and how we can improve it moving forward. So I'd like to expand on the outreach of PSU votes by holding regular roundtable meetings with other student organizations and RSOs leading up to Election Day to ensure that all parts of the student body play an active role in student voting. As creator of the first edition of the Voter Guide, I'd like to continue its successes by creating the second edition of the Voter Guide. And lastly, I believe UPUA needs to expand its outreach and collaboration with the student body. I'd like to address this by creating a tab on the UPUA website that would let students submit suggestions for initiatives. And if this is something that we're able to do as an assembly, allowing these students to directly play a role in its creation and implementation. So that's just a quick rundown of what I've accomplished in my time with UPUA, as well as what I'd like to accomplish in the upcoming year. If anyone has any questions or comments, or you want to follow my campaign, feel free to find me on Instagram at LAK_YN. You can shoot me a DM. You can get my email through that as well, and I'd be happy to chat with you. Once again, thank you for your time, and remember, vote Lakin Meter for at-large representative. Thank you.
Thank you, Lakin. And up next, we have Carter Gangl.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for coming out tonight. My name is Carter Gangl. I'm a sophomore pursuing a BS in psychology, and I'm running to be one of your at-large representatives. In this past assembly, I was able to stand as an at-large representative and spearhead the addition of a diversity, equity, and inclusion tab in Penn State's interactive map. For me, this is just the tip of the iceberg on what I want to accomplish for our Penn State community. The reason I originally applied to be an at-large representative in this past assembly was because I saw things occurring at our university that I was not happy with. When I came into UPUA, I made it my mission to promote diversity, equity, and inclusion, and to make Penn State a safer community for all students. I have made focusing on the promotion of diversity, equity, and inclusion at the forefront of my campaign and intend to follow through on that commitment if reelected as an at-large representative in the 16th Assembly. As soon as the 16th Assembly begins, I plan on working with Mary Edgington, who serves as the director of the hub, to get plaques outside of all gendered restrooms on campus, directing transgender and gender nonconforming individuals to the nearest gender-neutral restroom. I also plan to work to implement a diversity training course that is mandatory for all students before they enroll for their first semester at Penn State. I also plan on working closely with student organizations on campus that promote the success and equity of underrepresented students at University Park. Another key focus of my campaign is on creating a safer Penn State community for all students. This means going beyond the required information session about consent at new student orientation. In a report posted by the Penn State Police, from 2017 to 2019, stalking on campus has increased by 75%. And from 2017 to 2018, rape on campus has increased by 32%. These numbers are disappointing and should not be tolerated. I'm committed to working closely with students and faculty to implement safety measures around campus, such as increasing the number of blue lights across campus. I also would love to spearhead a bill funding a self-defense class offered to all students for free. Along with working to address the problems in relation to sexual harassment at University Park, I'm also committed to making the Penn State community a safer place for students of color. Currently, the University Park Police are not required to do any form of diversity training before being handed a gun and thrown into the field. If elected as an at-large representative, I plan to work closely with the university to require diversity trainings and training programs on implicit bias to all future Penn State police officers. If you got anything from my presentation, I hope you understand how committed I am to making Penn State a place where all students feel safe and supported. I will make it my mission as an at-large representative to make sure all students' voices are heard and respected by the university. I appreciate this opportunity and hope that you will elect me, Carter Gangl, to represent our Penn State community. Thank you.
Thank you, Carter. And up next, we have Cara Fleegle.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. I would like to take a moment to introduce myself. My name is Cara Fleegle, and I'm a sophomore studying vertebrate physiology. I currently work in a biobehavioral health lab on campus, and I have been working with lab mice for over three years now. I absolutely love scientific research, and I spend a large amount of my time reading scientific literature. I'm also an Aurora leader for Penn State. Aurora is a freshman orientation program where we take groups of 10 freshmen into the backcountry for a week of backpacking. Being a part of the Aurora community has been one of the most rewarding parts of my Penn State journey, and being able to meet and connect with freshmen is one of my favorite parts of the job. Over the last year, I had the privilege of being the 15th Assembly representative for the Eberly College of Science. During this time, I worked to advance the climate conscious nature of Penn State. This included meeting with clubs, faculty, and students to learn how we can institute a sustainability major into the Penn State curriculum. Over the last year, I've connected with over 50 people interested in sustainability and been in communication with the Faculty Senate on how to implement a climate education into our curriculum. Further, I worked with Penn State Votes to both register students and provide information on Election Day. I greatly enjoyed my time in the UPUA, and I'm excited to be running for a spot in the next assembly. The 15th Assembly was met with unprecedented circumstances, such as a global pandemic, social injustice, and widespread mental health concerns, which made it a very difficult task, and we had to ask ourselves very hard questions in order to best serve the Penn State community. I believe now more than ever that the UPUA needs to provide services for mental health, COVID-related resources, and stand as an institution with no regards to inequality. If given the privilege to serve as an at-large representative for the 16th Assembly, I will work to instill the mental, environmental, and academic health of the student body and campus. Foremost, I would like to work with CAPS to provide students with a comfortable and safe environment to take online health visits and therapy sessions. Current students who live on campus and are sharing dorms do not have a safe or private spot to take their medical telehealth appointments, and I believe we need to work to provide this space for those purposes. Further, I would like to work on the issue of sexual assault that not only plagues our campus, but campuses across the country. Providing resources for those who have experienced sexual assault, such as support groups, easily accessible information, and continued free STD testing is at the top of my priority list. Last, I would like to work with the Assembly and Penn State staff in order to safely find ways to open our campus back up. I believe that the safety should be our main concern of the Assembly, especially during COVID-19. Therefore, finding safe ways for clubs to meet, our facilities to reopen, and student services to resume on campus is a very important goal. I would also like to work on providing more communication to our students on the resources available during these unprecedented times. If given the opportunity to rent our student body, I will work to ensure the student voices are heard and that the UPUA is addressing the concerns of our students in a timely and effective manner. Thank you all so much for your time, and I look forward to running for this position in order to be a voice for the student body. you'd like to reach out to me and ask any questions, please feel free to contact me at cef5434@psu.edu or text me at 240-344-9131. Thank you again and have a great day.
Thank you, Cara. And up next, we have Jorge Durango Espin.
Good evening, everyone. I want to thank you all for taking time over your busy schedules to make part of this town hall and hearing what me and my fellow elected representatives have to say tonight. Also, I would like to thank the Commissioner and Jordan for this opportunity to speak our platforms. A little bit about myself. My name is George Durango Espin. I'm a freshman majoring in immunology and infectious disease, and I'm really excited and honored for the opportunity of running to be your next elected representative for the UPUA's 16th Assembly. I have a huge passion for advocacy, be it for social issues like the many ones the world is dealing with, holding me and people I know accountable for actions so we can create a kind community for all, and being able to spark happiness and be a helping hand to whoever needs it. That being said, my campaign focuses on creating a path towards an equal, kind, and safe community for all Penn State students, making sure your voice is fully heard and taken into consideration to make an impactful change is a major need for me to be able to successfully provide with efficient, equal, and transparent solutions to all Penn State students. Creating a coexistent, accepting, and judgment-free and safe place for all students by creating My initiative is to create a safe place for all students by creating speaking opportunities, culture events, and infographics to educate about social issues and how to go about them, as well as reporting them along with repercussions being taken will also be worked upon. I would like to be the happy face in the room that can spark that good energy among all the student body. My campaigns and initiatives stand by the following statement. You should not be listening to me telling you what is wrong, but I should be listening to you and make a change. As part of the student body myself, I understand what it is to have people representing you, but very minimal feedback being taken from the people one is serving. How can a productive change be made when the people we serve are not directly involved with the proposals and changes we have to make in order to better the place we all live in? So something I'm really looking forward to is to be able to come with continuous feedback from students in order to be in the know of what the Penn State community wants and needs. Another big priority I have in improving the student safety is to provide with better access to already known safe walk services, but in a more tech-savvy and less time-consuming way. Because we all know that when it comes to emergencies, having to follow a bunch of confusing steps just to get help is not the best case to deal with. Reports of misconduct and harassment of any sort will be at the forefront of topics to improve upon as well. Penn State counts with several financial literacy resources that I would like to bring the awareness to students because finances are not an easy topic to talk about, so having someone to talk about them can relieve a lot of stress. I would also like to take care of how the student initiative fee is handled. The majority of the student body is unaware of how this money is being used and for what purposes. So I would like to make this matter more transparent so students can feel assured this fee is being used in a correct and beneficial matters for all. Additionally, having workshops in which all students are able to learn how to apply, go about, and not miss scholarships or grants, and other financial opportunities that can make payment for the college education at least a bit less overwhelming are also a big priority in the academic and financial aspect of my platform. My overall initiatives, if given the honor of being chosen as your elected representative, are to provide all of the Penn State community with assurance that they are safe both on and off campus, that they are respected and accepted without having to feel limited or afraid of being who they are, to bring out awareness of the many resources our university has to offer, and of course, bring up the name of the UPUA to a broader audience so all the student body knows they have a support system that is always advocating for their well-being, both inside and outside the classroom. If you're interested in more information on my campaign, or even just saying your ideas and suggestions, you can check at george.for.upua on Instagram. Thank you so much for your time listening to my initiatives, and have an amazing night and rest of the week.
Thank you, Jorge. And up next, we have Jordan Deibler.
Well, hello, good evening, everyone. I hope you all got out today and enjoyed the nice weather while we have it. Right now, during this year, we don't really know when we have it, when we don't. Anyhow, my name is Jordan Deibler. I am a political science major in the College of Liberal Arts, and I'm from Sunbury, Pennsylvania, which is a small town about an hour and a half east of here. It's near Bucknell University, if that gives you any bearing whatsoever. Anyhow, just to get straight into my platform, first and foremost, I'll be here to serve the students of Penn State University Park. Here, serving my constituency is the main part of my platform. It's what I'm here to do, or it's what I will be here to do when I'm hopefully elected. And I'll be doing this through an impactful, honest, and transparent agenda. I will be pushing to keep the alternative grading system until the effects of the pandemic are no longer a burden on our education here at Penn State. Reopening in a safe and effective manner is also on my priority list. As an at-large representative, I am here to represent every student. So right now, I'm just going to say, please get in contact with me and address not just concerns, but ideas as well. My Instagram is jordan.deibler, and my email is jfd5690@psu.edu. My second point of my platform is just supporting and strengthening our community. We need to connect students to students. This is one of the largest schools in the world, and there shouldn't be a single student here that feels disconnected or left out. We need to actively advertise more clubs, and we also need to actively advertise the UPUA. That way students can get a greater say in what goes on here at University Park. Connecting students with career opportunities is also a part of my platform. Penn State has one of the best alumni networks in the world. I don't know about you guys, but it's one of the reasons why I chose to go here. And we need a more comprehensive and streamlined program connecting undergraduate students to private and public sector job opportunities and internships. And finally, saving money is a huge thing that we could do for students. Student debt across the United States right now is at $1.7 trillion, which is an all-time record high and not a good record. Regardless of any federal initiatives to cancel student debt, we still need to do what we can in order to make college cheaper for students now and in the future. Textbook marketplace would be a great way to implement this. Implementing a textbook marketplace, which is an area to buy used textbooks from students here at Penn State, for students here at Penn State, would be great for the students here. Because I don't know about you, but textbooks for me at least are insanely priced for what they are. We also need to encourage professors use e-textbooks in class, or at least textbooks that have an online version. Dropping the tuition is also something I would love to look into and encourage. The price of college is growing at twice the rate of inflation currently, which is also phenomenal and not in a good way. We need to get on to governmental, I at least would like to get on to the Governmental Affairs Committee and use the advocacy power that the Governmental Affairs Committee can have in order to advocate that governments, state and federal governments, increase subsidies, which will then drop our student costs here at Penn State. This is not the first time that I would have been on a governmental affairs committee, and I plan on bringing the experience that I've had in the past on past governmental affairs committee to this one as well. Also holding our administration responsible and accountable when it comes to the use of what is at the end of the day, our money. Furthering transparency initiatives should allow us students to more easily see what our money is being put into here at Penn State. Just to wrap it all up then, I'm here on the platform of saving our students money, supporting and strengthening our community here at Penn State, and most importantly of all, serving our students here at Penn State. Again, please reach out to me if there is anything you would like to talk about when it comes to getting done in UPUA. We can meet over Zoom to discuss policy, or in person if you're more comfortable with that, either way. And again, my contact information is on Instagram, Jordan.Deibler, spelled Deibler, and my email is jfd5690@psu.edu. And again, just a huge thanks to all those responsible for coordinating these town halls, and an even bigger thank you for the students of Penn State University Park. I look forward to hopefully serving you all in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Jordan. And up next, we have Matthew Deangelis.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for coming to the at-large candidate town hall. My name is Matthew Deangelis, and I'm running to be your next at-large representative for the University Park Undergraduate Association. First, I want to congratulate my fellow candidates for the hard work and dedication they have put into their campaigns thus far. It is no easy task reaching people while handling other extracurricular activities, class, and especially because of the circumstances of the pandemic that it has put us in. You should be proud of what you have done thus far. Now, I would like to give you some background about myself. I'm an out-of-state first-year student from Rochester, Michigan. My major is in international politics and the philosophy of law. I'm the finance director for Valley Magazine, Penn State's premier student-run life and style publication. I was also a member of UPUA's freshman council, as well as a legislative staffer. While being part of UPUA, I was involved in many different initiatives. These included handing out free school supply packs on behalf of the first-generation advocates, free sanitation packs that included supplies to keep students safe while on campus, as well as facilitate discussions on how to get UPUA more involved in advocating for students' needs, as well as marketing tools to grow UPUA's following, so that more students are involved in our undergraduate government. My campaign, what I would like to say, is a reflection of my morals and values. The first is safety. All students should feel completely safe on and off campus, whether it be more blue light systems off campus, equitable health resources for physical and mental health, and more resources for at-risk populations on campus. Student safety is of utmost importance. Number 2 is sustainability. Penn State is currently ranked 3rd in the US for sustainability. My goal is to become number 1 through legislation that pressures administration to take a more active and stronger stance in continuing Penn State's commitment to being an eco-friendly campus. I believe the university is not doing enough in response to the students' calls for getting rid of the single-use, non-biodegradable utensils, as well as styrofoam containers. The university likes to cite funds and expenses as a reason for this not being feasible. However, with an endowment of $3.4 billion last year, this is not a valid argument. I believe the university should practice endowment repatriation, which is the practice of endowments being returned to the control of the people and communities that have been most affected by the labor and environmental exploitation, and instead offer a more ethical framework for discussing endowment government. The third is community. UPUA is the undergraduate student's voice, and I pledge to build on this principle. Consistent town hall style meetings should take place in order to hear the real concerns of the student body. In addition, marginalized communities should have a larger role in advising what type of legislation would be best at helping resolve the needs and concerns that they have. As a member of the LGBT community, I sympathize with other marginalized communities, and I believe that our voices should not be taking a back seat as organizations feel the need to speak for us. We do not need others to take the stage on our behalf, but support us in the fight for a more equitable and equal Penn State. These 3 pillars are what will be at the foundation of my platform and how I will conduct my legislative role if elected as your at-large representative. Another more pressing issue that I believe that involves student safety and health is what I would like to have UPA focus on: affordable and equitable university health services. The cheapest insurance policy currently available to students will cost thousands upon thousands of dollars per semester. I went to UHS last semester with a cough, and not only did I get an incorrect diagnosis, but an $1,800 bill to go along with it. As a college student, I can't afford to have those type of bills, and I know that a large portion of our community cannot either. At Penn State, we learn about progressive, ethical, and innovative ways to go about society, yet we have a healthcare system that does not serve its students in an affordable or ethical way. These are just some of the issues that we as students face, and we learn about how to fix, but our university can't seem to implement these policies. Penn State is a place where we are supposed to be exploring different ideas, meet diverse populations of new people, and prepare for our future. UPUA has a strong influence in Penn State's policy, and I want to be your representative so that you can see real change in making our ideal campus. Make sure to vote on March 31st. And once again, my name is Matt Deangelis, and I'm running to be your next at-large representative. You can follow me at votedeangelis on Instagram, and thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Matthew. And up next, we have Seth Thompson.
Oh, sorry. All right, sorry about that. So my name is Seth Thompson. I hope you're all doing well. And before I get going here, I'll probably just introduce myself on a personal level a little bit quick. So my name is Seth Thompson. As I said, I am from Lancaster, Pennsylvania. For those who know it, or anybody who doesn't, yes, we are the Amish capital of the world. I'm a current sophomore, so I'll be a rising junior next year. I am a political science major currently with a minor in business and the liberal arts. And I'm a huge football fan. So really, my campaign and my candidacy is built around being your friend, which is what I want to start with. I would love for UPUA as an organization to be more approachable, which is what I'm more so interested in. I hadn't heard of UPUA coming into this. So obviously I heard about it, read up on it, learned about it, and I'm very interested in becoming a part of it now, which is a big personality trait of mine. It's more so, I'm a believer in, I'm sorry, I'm a believer in doing things, action, more so than talking. Sorry about that. Which it kind of ties into my first point of my campaign, my candidacy, which is again, the awareness of the UPUA. Like I said, I wasn't aware of it before, and I would love to do things to make it more accessible to the students, which in my opinion requires things that aren't such political things, that aren't such straightforward, that aren't such scary government things per se. So maybe, you know, hosting some fun events sometimes, hosting some things that students will be interested in to build awareness, because I feel as representatives, we need to be that which is representatives. We need to not inflict our own will after raising a small amount of votes from our campaigns, but be more representative of the student body as a whole, which is something that we need to do a better job at, engaging the university as a whole, not just small populations or groups, which will provide more transparency for what we're doing. But yeah, like I said, I want to be your friend. I want to be somebody who's approachable. And I mean, a lot of people for their campaigns, they have these cut and dry things that are that they're running on, which are good. And I've been agreeing with a lot of the outreach more per se, for the call to make UPUA a broader a broader organization for the student body. But past that, more so the things that I'm more so interested in spearheading more per se, is the textbook idea, which is something that a lot of people have been touching on. Textbooks seem to be a big problem, but I want to dive deeper into a specific problem that I've had arise, and that I've heard a lot of people talk about actually, which is the idea of professors writing their own textbooks and then making it a required text for their class. Professors, we're all aware, I'm sure, are paid enough. It's a brilliant business idea to write your own textbook and then require it for the class. But I'm not a representative for the professors. I'm a representative for the student body. And I don't feel that they should be profiting off of students just because they wrote their own textbook. Again, great idea. But that's something with the textbook whole issue that we need to really step up and prevent, is professors profiting off students more because they're writing their own textbooks and requiring it. Another issue I'd like to talk about is resources in Penn State. We are given access to a ton of stuff, which is great, such as, like, you know, software on your computer, all that kind of stuff. This goes as well for clubs and organizations, which I would like to expand the students' knowledge of, which requires, I know Joshua talked about an app in his town hall that is going to bring together a bunch of clubs and organizations, but I'd love to add everything that we're given access to at Penn State. I feel that's something students don't take advantage of enough. and mostly because they don't know about it. We're given so many good free things because of the tuition we're paying here. And I'd love to give them access in one spot to all the stuff they have available to them. And really, it's just the betterment of student life. So really, I'd love to hear from you all. I want to spread the representativeness of UPUA. I'd love to hear from the students. If you want to reach out, my email is sdc5421@psu.edu. Reach out to me, talk to me. I'd love to hear from you. And I'd love to make UPUA a better place for everybody and for the whole student body. I'd love to hear from everybody, and I'd love to represent everybody. So again, vote Seth Constein for UPUA.
Thank you, Seth. And next up, we have Samantha Brown.
Hi, hello everyone. My name is Samantha Brown. I'm a sophomore at Penn State University Park. I'm studying accounting in the Smale College of Business, and I'm running for an at-large representative. Just a little bit about me. I'm from South River, New Jersey, and I'm currently an at-large representative in UPUA's 15th Assembly, and I was on the Freshman Council on UPUA's 14th Assembly. I sat on 3 committees this past year: Academic Affairs, Student Life, and Facilities, and some other organizations I'm involved in on campus. I'm currently the Vice President for Wellness on the Pan-Hellenic Council. I'm a member of the Tapestry Dance Company, and I'm also a member of the Gamma Delta chapter of Delta Zeta Sorority. I've always had a passion for creating change to better the community, from high school when I was involved in student government as president of my class and student council, and to now. Within UPUA, I am the co-chair for mental health and wellness in the Student Life Committee. I also ran and organized the Mental Health and Wellness Roundtable this year, and I'm also a co-founder of the Women's Empowerment Roundtable. Some things I was able to accomplish this past year includes providing free graduate school test prep books for students who are looking for any graduate exam, from the GMAT to MCAT. It was a really great experience just being able to give students those free resources. I was also able to provide $20 emergency gift cards for students during this unprecedented time through the Student Care and Advocacy Office. And I plan to continue my advocacy throughout this next assembly. Some things that I'm interested in are inclusive times for university resources. So through Student Life and through the Mental Health and Wellness Roundtable, I've been able to create connections with several university offices. And we were able to meet and discuss about how during this remote period, because of the pandemic, there are a lot of online resources, but since students are taking classes from all over the world, they aren't necessarily accessible at all times. So I'd really love to create some sort of system where we could have these resources available at times for students, no matter where they are, whether that be later at night or earlier in the morning, just to make sure it's inclusive, because we know that this time can be especially difficult on mental health. So we want to make sure that every student that attends Penn State is able to access those. Another thing that I worked on this past assembly is earlier course scheduling times. Currently, students schedule their classes at 12 a.m., which can cause a lot of confusion. Some of that being what is the actual day that they're scheduling, and some students complain of disturbance of sleep schedules, So this past assembly, I aided in creating a survey that was sent out to all Penn State students that includes University Park, Commonwealth campuses, and even commuter students to understand their struggles with the current time and to try and find a time that would best suit them. So during this next assembly, I would love to bring that back to the Line Path Advisory Board, who we collaborated with, and actually make that change so students are able to properly schedule their classes, make sure they aren't missing it, and do it at a time that's best for them. And lastly, one of my passion projects is more dining options for students with allergies. As a student with a severe peanut allergy, I've noticed that it can be extremely difficult being on campus, being able to find food that you feel safe eating. This past assembly, through facilities, I was able to meet and create a seat for UPUA on their dining council. So hopefully throughout this next assembly, we'll be able to have someone sitting in on those meetings and representing students, whether that be vegetarian options or, like I said, nut allergies, gluten allergies, just to create maybe some sort of safe snack station for students so they just feel safe, because I know how uncomfortable it can be. In conclusion, I'm just extremely passionate about UPUA. I love being involved in it. I love being able to see active change within the student body. Hopefully we'll be able to see faces next semester and just really see the happiness that everyone brings. So it would mean a lot to me if you voted for Sam Brown for at-large. Hope you all have a great day.
Thank you, Sam. And next up, we have Emmanuel Almonte.
All right, good evening, everyone. So I'll just keep this brief and do a quick synopsis on what I've been doing for the past 2 years. So my name is Emmanuel Almonte. So for the past 2 years, I've been working as the DUS rep, aka the Division of Undergraduate Studies. And I currently sit on the Academic Affairs Committee. So pretty much the world that I operate in is all things pertaining to academics. That's kind of like my bread and butter. So that's what I like to do. So unfortunately, I can't be a DUS rep anymore because I'm officially declared in my major. So for anyone who cares, I'm doing philosophy and political science and Italian. So yeah, that's pretty fun. So a few things that I've been working on. So AAC, which is Academic Affairs Committee, was responsible for pretty much passing the alternative grading for the past year, and that's been pretty successful. I think that's one of the best legislation that we've had ever, and it's just been really great. So that's something that we're proud of. And so in DUS, I've been able to advocate for our advisors during my first year. So that was been pretty fun. And like Samantha mentioned, test prep. So providing students with free resources, for the LSAT or the GMAT or what have you is pretty important as well. And I think that's something we should continue doing. So that's just a couple of things that I've been doing. In terms of what I would like to do, so one of the things that I would like to do is definitely continue with LionLink. LionLink job shadowing is an experience where students can pretty much get paired up with someone in a specific career, and then they can shadow them and learn more about what they do. It's just a great way for students to get access to, just employment potential in the future, and just to make those connections. It's very valuable. And as mentioned today, that's something that we're lacking at Penn State. And I think it'd be a great experience. And so we just continue with doing that. And also providing a diversity course is pretty important. Currently, we've been talking with Steven Zong a little bit about that, and some other schools have been doing that as well, and they found it to be very successful. So that's definitely potential in the future to advocate for that. Alternative grading, though, should definitely be kept because until all things are physical, and we know that for a fact, I think students should have the opportunity to have the option to do alternative grading just because it'd be more equitable and just more beneficial for the students in the long run. So I think that's something that's really important as well. And so another thing that I would like to work on is, well, this past semester, I suppose, we've been working on making the scholarship webpage a bit more accessible. Right now, it's really not that great. I don't know if you've been on it, but it's really difficult to navigate. So definitely something that we're looking forward to working on. So that's just a few things. But overall, the past assembly has been very progressive. And in terms of tangibility, for being online, I think we've had the most impact so far. So I think it's been really great. And I would like to continue doing that. So I'm not currently on social media, but you can shoot me an email at eia5151@pcu.edu. And thank you so much. And definitely vote for Emmanuel Almonte if you can, but enjoy your night. So thank you.
Thank you, Emmanuel. And next up, we have Rayna Alexander.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Rayna Alexander, and I am running for an at-large seat for the 16th General Assembly. As a freshman political science and international affairs IUG aspirant, my first year has been anything but normal. However, the virtual barriers that dominate our lives have had little success in deterring my motivation to be an active member of the student body. I'm involved in political, spiritual, and career developmental organizations. Additionally, in the fall, I was a legislative staffer, and as of February, I have served as an at-large representative in the UPUA. While it might be different than any other year, I am incredibly thankful for my unique experiences as a Penn Stater. During my time in the UPUA, I have served primarily in the Committee for Justice and Equity, where I've worked on numerous initiatives pertaining to student disability resources, roundtable discussions for underrepresented communities, and a downtown banner initiative, among other things. Most notably, however, I am a co-coordinator of the Women's Empowerment Roundtable. I aided in organizing discussions, created and updated our website, and engaged in outreach to women across our campus. I would be honored and hope to continue these efforts into the next assembly. Outside of the UPUA, I co-founded Empowering Women in Law at Penn State, where I currently serve as the Media and Recruitment Director. My passion for women's empowerment has introduced me to incredible women across the university, and I'm honored to work with and for them. I am campaigning on 3 key tenets: commitment to our community, women's empowerment, and social justice advocacy. While both my experiences and positions corroborate these core tenets, my ultimate goal as a representative and a student leader is to work for the student body. In the 16th Assembly, should I have the privilege to serve again, I plan to sit on the Committee for Justice and Equity. In addition to advancing the efforts of the Women's Empowerment Roundtable, I will continue the work of the 15th Assembly into the 16th by advocating and developing current initiatives, including the Wally Triplet and Jesse Arnell Memorial, as well as continuing annually established projects. I plan to solidify and contribute to the legacy of the committee. While my primary focus lies in justice and equity, I hope to collaborate with the Committee for Student Life by drafting legislation and initiatives for eating disorder awareness, prevention, and support. This issue is of the utmost importance to me and many of my peers, and has grown especially pertinent in the wake of the pandemic. Additionally, I aspire to aid in the work of the Mental Health and Wellness Roundtable and other mental health initiatives. I am not ignorant to the pain and the stressors caused by the pandemic, and hope to give students the emotional support and spiritual support that they need to be successful going forward. It is my sole intention, each and every day, to work for all students on campus. I'm here to listen, to collaborate, and to innovate. And while I have initiative ideas of my own, as a representative, my purpose is to serve all members of the Penn State community. I'm eager to listen to the concerns of my peers, not only to address the issues that I find important, but also those brought to me by the student body. It is an honor to sit as a current representative for the University Park Undergraduate Association. And as a candidate, I hope to continue the efforts of the organization, and I admire the responsibility and the privilege that comes with the role. If you have any questions, concerns, or comments, or if you'd like to learn more about my campaign and platform, please follow my Instagram at alexander.atlarge. And on March 31st, vote Rayna Alexander as your at-large representative. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Rayna. And lastly, we have Sam Aha.
Hello, good evening, everybody. My name is Sam Aja, and I'm running to be one of the next at-large representatives in the 16th Assembly. I'm a sophomore. I'm from Long Island, New York, and I'm running because I want to be a better liaison between the UPUA and the students of Penn State so we can function better as a community, so we can be more efficient students and go to school in a better environment. If I'm elected to office, I would make it my priority to fight for my core pillars: diversity, equity, transparency and honesty, community, and student wellness. On the topic of diversity and equity, I would constantly meet with community groups such as the Black Caucus to better understand how I can help communities of color and students and marginalized students in my work in the UPUA. I would also fight to expand more equitable resources to students, such as free test prep materials, school supplies, textbooks, and etc. and so on. I will also fight for more stringent sexual assault policies and resources to better protect victims of sexual assault, considering how many sexual assaults we have on campus. I would also mandate stand for state training for all members of the UPUA so we can begin to tackle the issues of bias in our student government. As for transparency, I would push to mandate mass emails to all students at the end of every session meeting, so students are in the loop with new legislation, possible open positions, and any other ways to be engaged in the UPUA and on campus. For our community, I would push for student unionization and a $15 minimum wage for student workers so students can have more economic stability and comfort, and ensuring they can not only work comfortably, they can get an education with very minimal interruption. I would also move on to mandating bi-weekly town halls instead of the one semester town halls we currently have. So the UPUA is more accessible to students and students can interact between the student government and themselves more frequently. And most important, I would push for election day to be a school holiday so students can exercise their right to vote, all while the UPUA is providing them with voting materials so students can vote engaged and informed. For matters of student wellness, our approach for the permanent installation of wellness days outside of months where we currently have our spring breaks and winter breaks. I would also move on to fight for expanded caps and other mental health resources that are affordable and qualitative so students can get the mental health treatment they need, as well as expand affordable healthcare options through the UHS so students can not only maintain their wellness without misdiagnosis and not having anything to worry about out on there in terms of economics. At the end of the day, I'm running as a candidate for the students and pushing for a better campus that not only protects students, that nourishes them and gives them the space to grow as students and as people. And I believe that's what the role of student government is supposed to be for students. And excuse me, thank you for listening to me. Thank you for listening to me tonight. If you want to learn more about my campaign or you have any questions for me, my phone number is 516-717-9766, or feel to shoot me an email at sua5025@psu.edu. You guys have a great night.
Thank you, Sam. And with that, those are all the candidates that we have tonight. I would like to thank everybody who will be watching this on the YouTube recording, as well as those watching on the Facebook Live. Also, a special thank you to the Daily Collegian for covering these past town halls, and for all the candidates for bringing their campaigns and their platforms to educate the students. And this is just a reminder to everybody watching that we have 21 candidates for the 20 at-large representative spots for Election Day on March 31st. Voting will be on vote.psu.edu. And I hope everyone has a great night.